In the earlier video, we knew about the variables in the Python and how can we store the data or how can we store the value in the variables of Python. As you can see it in the playlist also. In the current video, we are going to know about the data types in Python programming language. Now, in the Python programming language, there are some basic data types that you also know. Suppose the basic data types in the Python programming language are integers, float, boolean, and if I have to find out that what type of data is being actually stored in the Python programming language, then the most important data type in the Python programming language is basically string, and we are actually going to use this string a lot in the Python programming language. So let us find out that how to know whether a variable is a string or whether a variable means nothing. Variable means data stored in it. So whether the variables are actually having the data which are of the type of string or which are of the type of boolean or which are of the type of float or which are of the type of integer. How can we find out? There are basically the four type of data structures or four type of data types that we are going to discuss. Integer, float, boolean and string. Now let's find out how can we actually understand this four type of data in the Python programming language. So suppose I want to have a variable named a, and within a I want to give, let us see that what type of data that we are, what are the data types that we are going to tackle at first. So at first we are going to tackle the data type that is named as integer. As you can see here also, integer, it is basically a number. Integer is a number, and we all know about integers. We all have a very basic idea about the integer, that integer is basically a number and it doesn't have any decimal fraction, or it is not a fractional point. So suppose I want to store a variable. Suppose I want to store a variable named as a, and I want to give 10 as value in the a. And if I print a, and then a will be printed. You know this. I mean, from the previous video, you actually learned about this. So if I run this cell, let me see what is happening here. I want to open a new file, I think. I feel there is a problem in this file. Let me open the Jupyter notebook again and then we are going to see what actually happens when we try to find out that what are the types of data in the Python programming language. So the Jupyter notebook is opening here, and I will have a new notebook. Here it is. So suppose I have a variable called a, and 10 is the value which is stored in a, and I want to operate a, and I want to know the type of a. What is the type of a? So basically, if I print type of a, and if I run this code, then what actually happens? You can see that the type of a is basically integer. It is being shown by int, integer. So as you can see, a, within a we have stored a value which is 10, and 10 is an integer number. So it is showing that the type of a is in an integer. Now if I within a or within b, suppose if I give 10.5, and we all know that this is a float number. So if I give 10.5 within b, and if I want to know the type of b, Then if I run this code, you can see the type of B is a float. So B is basically 10.5. 10.5 is the value which is stored in B, and the type of 10.5 is a float, so it is showing float. If I give a logic, suppose I have a new variable C and I want to give a logic in C, and what can be the logic? The logic can be, suppose it is true. True is the logic that I want to give in, and I want to know the type of C. So C is bool. Bool means here it is boolean. Logical expressions are basically the boolean expressions, and boolean expressions are true and false in Python programming language. So if I go to, suppose we have a new variable called D, and within D, I want to store a name. I want to store a name. Suppose I want to store the name of Matt within D, and I want to know the type of D. You can see the type of D is basically str. It represents string. So these are the four main type of data in the Python programming language. Whatever data we are storing in the variables can be of mainly four types in Python programming language. It can be an integer, it can be a float, it can be a boolean, or it can be a string. We are mainly going to deal with string, but there are some other programming, there are some other type of data are also much more prevalent and also much more important in the Python programming language. So as you can see here, A1, it is a variable which is assigned with a value 10. If I want to know the type of A1, then it will show us integer. Similarly, type of A1. Here I want to say a thing that variables can be replaced. Variables can be replaced means, suppose if I want to give, um, let me show it. Here we have A equals to 10. But if I give A equals to 12 here, Python will forget or Python will delete the previous story. Python will not remember that A was assigned as 10 in the before or in the earlier code. Python will not remember about that. What Python will remember? Python will remember that currently A is assigned as 12. So we will take A as 12. We will not think or we will not consider that A is 10. So with the name or with the same variable, with the same variable you can assign different values at different storage, and it will be rewritten by the Python. Here A is 10, but whenever I assign 12 in the A, that 10 will be rewritten as 12 in the A variable. Now if I try to type A, and if I run this code, you can see 12 will be given here. Okay, so A is currently not 10, A is currently 12. If I run this code, as you can see, if I run this code, let me run this code, then you will have a better idea. If I run this code, here A is 10, here A is 10, but here A is 12. So Python has actually rewritten the code and has assigned new value in the variable. So we have actually learned about the data types in Python programming language. Now the first code I have already done it. The first code in the Python programming language, I have assigned hello world in a variable, and then I have printed the variable, and it is a string. You can easily understand the characters or new, word values in the Python programming language are basically the strings. Now suppose there is another data type that is also important in Python programming language. It is a it is a complex data type. Complex data type are nothing but, we all know about the complex numbers. The complex numbers are, if I want to write it, if the complex number are, suppose c equals to 4 plus, we all know the complex number are 4 plus 5 I, suppose 5 I, this is a complex number, you all know about it. But in the Python programming language, you can write, you can't write I, you have to write J. In place of I, you have to write J to denote the complex number. We all know in mathematics I is equal to root over minus 1. So here j is representing that I, and j is equals to root over minus 1. So we have to give j here. And if I want to know the type of C, then as you can see, the type of C is a complex. It is showing that it is a complex data type. And I hope it is clear. Now we are going to, after the data types, after the concept of data types, we are going to know about the operations in Python. That will be in the next video. We are going to know about the operations, the operators in the Python. We are going to learn about the arithmetic operators. We are going to learn about the relational operators. We are going to learn about the logical operators. This will be the three type of operators that we are going to learn in the Python in the next video.